lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop. It's about 5 minutes to 5 here on Saturday afternoon in Philadelphia. And I don't know where you are or what you're doing, but I hope you're having a nice weekend. And I hope this video will pleasantly accompany whatever you may be doing. I'm having my afternoon coffee. It's black today. And I'm not having dinner until 8 o'clock tonight, so I'm actually munching on some salted peanuts instead of my usual ginger snap. Hey, you know, I've got to shake things up once in a while. What are you eating? What do you like to snack on? You know, before dinner? Or when it's, you know, a few hours from dinner time? Okay, be quiet and show the folks what you bought. A little different. I'm not on the kitchen counter today because I'm actually entertaining tomorrow and I'm cooking, but right now I've got corned beef and cabbage and carrots and potatoes and stuff all over the kitchen counter, so I'm not going to put a bunch of glass out there. That's why I'm doing my thrift haul right here. I bought a box of stuff yesterday and I paid $18. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you the individual prices. I'm just going to show you everything. And all of it was $18 altogether. And I'm selling everything except one piece. Okay, I'm telling you now, and I'm going to show you that one piece at the very end of the video. So, what did I get yesterday for $18 in one thrift shop? I bought a piece of pink American princess. Oh, for goodness sake. He's not even 5 minutes into the doggone thing and he's already doing it. Not American Princess, Miss America. Whew, I tell you, sometimes I'm in and out. A piece of anchor-hocking Miss America. Talked a little bit before about the difference between Miss America and English Hobnail by Westmoreland. They look a lot alike, but there's some slight differences. But you can really easily mix and match. I usually don't buy it in crystal, but I do buy it in the pink. Okay, a divided relish dish with all these little points that could get chipped, and none of them are. You want to be careful when you run your hands over Miss America or English Hobnail, because if it's chipped, you're gonna cut yourself. Okay, depression glass. Everything was $18 that I'm showing you all together. Not as old as you might think. Blue mirrored glass came on the scene in the 1920s and was very popular in the 30s and 40s, even after the Second World War. Yes, even in the late 40s, they were manufacturing coffee table sets with end tables with the blue mirrored glass. You know, you've seen it. It's not just from the 1930s. And it was often put on the perimeter of picture frames, mirrors. It would decorate table lamps, and of course, tabletops for furniture. Radios, bar cabinets, that kind of thing. But that's not what this is. It's not mirrored glass. It's a flashed on or a sprayed on blue color on this glass, and right now it's covered in my fingerprints, but it's a dresser tray for the perfume to go on here so that if you spill the perfume, it won't eat the varnish off of your vanity. This one is probably a 1950s, even maybe early 60s piece, because it's not mirrored glass. And there was a silvered picture in the middle of some Grecian lady with a rifle and a hound. Is that a rifle? I don't know what it is, but anyway, I'm sure it's not a rifle. So there are no chips or cracks on this, and a nice little dresser tray with its 4 original rubber feet. I think I spent too much time talking about that. Let's have a few peanuts. You guys can have a snack too. I mean, I feel like we know each other enough now. You don't mind if I talk with my mouth full? You probably do. What a heathen. We're friends. Anchor Hocking made this. It's a sandwich glass tumbler in their forest green pattern. And this remains popular amongst collectors, and I always buy it when I can. A nice amber glass in hobnail with a crimped edge and an applied handle. Fenton? Probably. It's not marked. Yes, I know there were many glass companies that made these baskets. It doesn't have to be Fenton. It's kind of, Fenton is your kind of always my go-to company. And this is a nice, let's see. That's a 10-inch span right there on the basket. I just pinged it because I wanted to. Pinging glass really doesn't tell you much. But everybody does it. Well, it does tell you something. If it's cracked, you won't get a ring, usually. There'll be a really dull, so just pinging it doesn't necessarily mean it's crystal or it's good glass or bad glass or flint glass or made yesterday or made by Ben Franklin. But you can tell if it's cracked oftentimes by pinging it. The clock strikes 5. So anyway. Okay. I know something. I know. Okay, now this is a piece of Cambridge. It's from 30s, 40s. Cambridge was one of the elegant one of the better glass makers of the Depression era. It's a 3-part divided dish with an etched pattern. You saw me sell this a couple weeks ago in amber without the lid and an unetched piece, an unetched one. So I haven't looked up the name of the pattern yet because I still cannot find my elegant glass Depression book. I think the cat has done something with it. Anyway, a lot of you already know, so I know you know this, but maybe some younger collectors don't necessarily know a lot about elegant Depression glass as opposed to not elegant. Elegant is often crystal, but it also comes in colors, many different colors, okay? And many times it's etched, but not always. It is of better quality than the cheaply mass-produced Depression glass that was given away or sold at 5 and dimes. That stuff came off the assembly line and went right into the crate and oftentimes wasn't even touched by human hands. This glass would have been inspected. If there were mold lines, they were often polished out. And in this lid, for example, you can't see, but I can tell you that it was made in a mold, and there are just tiny traces of the mold lines right up here near the handle. But for the most part, they've been polished off. So that means it's more expensive glass because it was handled, right? And it was also etched. So it's a better quality glass that would have been purchased in department stores or gift shops or jewelry stores in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Okay, let's put that down. Did I get through every... No, here's 2 more things. Okay, this, I love this thing. Yeah, it's just a piece of pattern glass. It's probably from 1920 or before, right around, before the colored glass craze of the late 20s. But doesn't it look like a trophy? And without the handles, it looks like an ice cream sundae cup. That looks like somebody took an ice cream sundae cup and stuck handles on it. So was it a vase? I mean, I could drink out of it, or I could make an ice cream soda out of it. There's only one. I haven't done any research on it, and I don't know who made it, but it's one of those pieces of glass that probably dates to right around 1920-ish. And I just love this thing. I think I'm going to use it as sort of a, just, I don't know what I'll stick in it. Cat treats. And you know I advertise my shop as selling items from the 1920s into the 60s, and once in a while I'll dip into the 70s. But I'm buying more Swung vases because I know people collect them, and I want to offer items to, you know, several different customers that might be interested. So I'm not an expert on these Swung vases. I always say it's either Viking or L.E. Smith, or I just don't know who. I guess I need to learn more about Swung vases of the 60s. I really love the end of it, the business part up here. The way it just sticks up like that and hasn't been broken. And I'm going to guess you just say ambarina, since it does fade from red to orange to yellow. There has a kind of a star pattern on the bottom. It's footed, and that's about 12 inches tall. No chips, no cracks, no sick glass. So, because I just bought all this stuff yesterday, and I'm not going to do any listing on Sunday, so none of this is in the shop yet, but look for it by midweek of next week. And this will all be listed in the old Curiosity shop. And I think that was it. No, there's the one more thing. And this is the piece that I'm going to keep. So I told you all of this was $18, including this. And I would have paid $18 just for this. I would have paid $20 just for this. Mostly because I'm keeping it, but also because it is so cool. And it's rising up like a Wurlitzer pipe organ from under the stage at the Paramount Theater. Look at that. He's so dramatic. So dramatic. You haven't seen an act like this since All About Eve. All right, calm down, Scott. It's a piece of depression glass. It's a console bowl. Undoubtedly, it had matching candlesticks. Who made it? I haven't done any research yet, but there were many companies in the 20s and 30s that could have made this. I think of Lancaster Glass, United States Glass Company, Belmont. I don't want to start naming names because I don't know who made it. But as I said, lots of them did this. Made these console bowls with this painted finish. When it sits on the table, the rolled edge comes down, and it just barely, it doesn't even touch the table. It makes it look like it's just floating, like a jellyfish. And I like the color. So on the underside, it's painted. This is clear glass, and it's been painted, and you see that in glass from this era. And anybody who collects this or has been in this business for a while, you know there's a waxy feel to this glass. Remember wax teeth that we used to get as kids? Or wax Coke bottles? Now I'm going back to the 70s with that wax candy. This feels like that wax. So you can see that it is painted. And then on the top, there's some silver overlay in a Deco pattern that's been put on there. And so, very Art Deco, very circa 1930. I love it. I'm probably going to spend the rest of my life looking for the matching candlesticks that undoubtedly went with it. But as I said, this is the only piece I'm not going to sell because you guys know if it's from the 30s and it's got green on it and it's Art Deco, love it. Okay, so that's it. That's all the stuff. Well, don't turn off yet. I got something else to show you. But those are the things that came in that one box for $18. Okay? And then, one more thing I want to show you that I bought. Oh, and before I show it to you, I promise, in the next this and that, and that'll be, I guess, my third this and that, I did receive some surprise mail. So for those of you who sent me some things and you're like, well, he hasn't even acknowledged that I sent him anything yet, you know I'm going to. I just haven't done it yet. But I got some gifts in the mail, some lovely things that and I can't wait to show them to you, and I will in the this and that video. So that's going to come up sooner or later. Look at this. Now I'm just going to hold it up, move it around in front of the camera, and I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to let you look at it and enjoy it. And hopefully you can see it. Oh, I have to say something. I love her. Where is she? Right there. Does she not want to be there or what? She's either the chaperone or she's the mother of the ship's captain, and she's just not feeling it. Look at her. Where is she? Right here, right here, right there, right there, right there. I hope it's focusing. I don't know, but I love it. And then I want you to see, just at the moment that the picture was taken, a lady was leaning in to have her cigarette lit by a sailor, and you can see the flash from the lighter. Can you imagine? You know, a lighter, 1 second and it's over. At that same second, this photograph was taken. Hope you can see this. If not, I'll take another picture of it and blow it up. Can you see that? Right there. I know that it's probably hard to see all of it. So what is this, and why did I pay $20 for it? Well, I would have paid $20 for it anyway. I love antique photography. But what's written on the back? Now I know what I'm getting ready to tell you, and I'm guilty of this too. Folks, get your old photographs out and start writing down. This is Aunt Hazel. She walked from New Mexico to Northern California in 1905 and gave birth to 20 children. Please document your photographs. You know, you might not have anybody to pass them on to. At the moment, I don't have anybody to pass my old photographs on to, but hopefully that'll change. But do it anyway. You know, you never know who's going to get a hold of them after your demise. They might wind up at a flea market, but they might wind up in the hands of someone like me 80 years later who's actually going to keep that history alive. Now, these people are probably long gone, although this photograph was taken in 1940 something. So these folks, if they're still around, they're in their 90s, because some of these people look like they're about 18, 19, 20, 25 years old. Okay. But what does it say on the back? Well, let me read it to you, and I'm going to try to let you see. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but hopefully you can see it while I'm reading it. Here's what it says on the back that was written on it. This is the USS Otter, O-T-T-E-R. It was a destroyer. It says Destroyer Escort 210, Escort Division 62, 2nd Fleet, Task Force 65, blah, blah, blah. Launched on November the 30th, 1943, commissioned in 1944. Assigned crew when formed at Naval Operating Base, Norfolk, Virginia, December of 43. Transferred April of 45 to staff, I can't read that. Action in the North Atlantic, and then it gave, listen to this, listen to the detail. The action in the North Atlantic, 49 degrees north latitude, 17 degrees west longitude, approximately 500 miles north of the something. 16th of January, this is written in fountain pen and some of it's faded. 16th of January 1945, assigned to Task Force 65 for convoy work in 1944. It just more dates of where it went. Submarine warfare duty, October of 44. Okay, ports. Here are all the places where this ship went. Now, this isn't the interior of the ship. I'll get to where this picture was taken in a minute. I hope you guys find this interesting. I find it absolutely fascinating. The folks in this picture, the sailors and whatnot, the ports where they landed in this USS Otter: Charleston, South Carolina; Bermuda, British West Indies; New York City, New York; Casablanca, French Morocco; Norfolk, Virginia; Tunisia. My grandfather was in Tunisia during the war and told lots of stories about it. They were chasing Rommel around the desert. Let's see, Portland, Maine; Palermo, Sicily; Algeria; Gibraltar, port of something; Argentina; Newfoundland; Halifax, Nova Scotia; Boston, Massachusetts; Green, I can't, then the handwriting gets very small. Okay, this picture shows the first ship's dance held at the Hotel St. Regis, New York City, New York, May the 26th of 1944. They're in the Hotel St. Regis in New York City. I'll have to look and see if that hotel is still standing. 1944, May of 1944. This is the ship's dance. Upon their return from Casablanca, North Africa. And then the author here says, I am not in this picture, and it only has sentimental value, having some of the officers and crew having, let's see, I'm sorry, and it only has sentimental value, showing some of the enlisted and office personnel of the crew of the Otter. Oh, okay. So John Reichter, and then he says here that he's a second-class yeoman, Naval Reserve. So maybe he knew some of these folks. Can you imagine getting this back into the hands of a family member of someone who was on this ship, and maybe who was at this dance in New York City at the hotel? How many of these young men did not come home? I can just sit here and study this picture for an hour and just think of the little towns across America from where they came, and their family members at home who sacrificed, who made it back and who didn't. It's priceless. I'm going to sell it, but what I'm going to do is advertise that it is a photograph from the USS Otter. What I would love is for this to wind up in the hands of someone, who, as I said, my grandfather, and depending on your age, maybe your grandfather or father served in the Second World War and other wars. Wouldn't you love to have a photograph like this? If your family member was in it? And we can see the bandstand back here, and here's a microphone, so there would have been a big band and singers. You can imagine in 1944. See the man in front of the microphone right there? Anyway, I'm just going on and on about it because I think it is so special. And we can also see down here, I'll let you read that. I know there's a glare. But you can see that it says Ship Dance, Hotel St. Regis, May the 26th, 1944. Of course, 1944 is near the end of the war. The war ended, about a year later, in the spring of 45. So, but there was still a lot of fighting left to do, and so I may live with this for a while. I'd really like to do some research and try to get it back into the hands, as I said, of someone who maybe was on the ship or knew someone who was on the ship. Okay, enough of my mouth. This is Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop. I don't know what you're doing today on Saturday. Maybe you're just going to have a comfortable night at home, or you're heading out on the town. But whatever it is, I hope that you're doing well. Thank you for watching and commenting and subscribing and all of that stuff. Okay. I already said this is Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop, so the only thing left to say is so long for now. I've got to go slice carrots and get that corned beef going. It's going to be a long night. Bye, everybody.